Howdy folks, it's time for another Let Me Fix That For You, and I'm excited because this one involves Baijiu, which I'm not super familiar with. It also involves a few trips to the kitchen and some kitchen operations. Should be fun. Stay tuned. So, this cocktail comes from loyal viewer and frequent commenter, Michael Pieper. We did another one of his drinks on a Let Me Fix That For You not too long ago, featuring sochu. Go check that out if you want to. By the way, everyone is, of course, welcome to send me one of their drinks they're working on. I would love to get them. You can just comment it down below or send me an email. Don't let Michael Pieper have all the fun. Okay, so this time we're working with Baijiu, which is not something I'm very familiar with at all. What I do know is it's a Chinese spirit that can be made from a variety of grains, including rice, sorghum, probably corn, other things, which sounds a little familiar. That sounds a bit like sochu, although I think sochu is usually at a lower proof than Baijiu, and is usually more subtly flavored. This Baijiu tends to be more strongly flavored. And that's about all I know about Baijiu. There's not a ton of it available here. Michael Pieper did mention that he used Ming River sochu in his drink, which I was actually able to find available here at a liquor store, so I picked one bottle of that up. I've also got this bottle of Baijiu that a friend of mine got while he was in China, and there's a local company that makes Baijiu, so I've got those two bottles as well. I think in the future maybe I'll do a little Baijiu taste test, see if I can get into Baijiu a little bit. If there's anybody out there who can read Chinese and wants to translate this label for me, I would love that, because Google Translate is, I don't know, it doesn't make any sense to me. So if you're out there, Chinese speakers, let me know. So what about this drink? Well, it's a little bit complicated. Besides the lime juice, Baijiu, and apricot liqueur, it also has 3 homemade ingredients. We've got coconut milk, cream of coconut, and ginger syrup. So let's head to the kitchen. Now I've got this box of coconut cream that I'm gonna use to make my cream of coconut. I'm gonna follow the same procedure that I used for my fancy cream of coconut video that you may have seen. It's pretty simple. We're gonna get some coconut flakes and toast them in the oven. Meanwhile, we're gonna weigh out some coconut cream and put in an equal weight of turbinado sugar. Turbinado will give it a little extra flavor. When the coconut flakes are golden brown, we're gonna put them in the pot, and we'll just gently heat this to melt the sugar. I'm also gonna add a little bit of vanilla extract for a little extra zazz. We'll just let that cool for an hour or two, and then strain it out, and there you have fancy cream of coconut. Now I still have some coconut cream in this box, and the internet tells me that coconut cream and coconut milk are the same thing, just coconut milk has more water in it. The internet also told me that if I watered it down in a 3-to-1 ratio, I should get coconut milk, so that's what I did. I'm not an expert in coconut milk by any means, so I don't know if this is quite the right consistency, if I need more water or what, but it seems fine. Ginger syrup is also super simple. I got this little bottle of ginger juice. And again, I'm just gonna add an equal weight of sugar. This time I'm just using white sugar. Gives you a delicious, spicy ginger syrup. Now we're calling this drink Falling Out of the Coconut Tree. Let's mix it up and see what we think. did it. We made Fallen Out of the coconut tree. Let's give this a try. I think this does need some kind of a garnish. Michael suggested maybe some nutmeg on top. That's never a bad idea. I was thinking maybe a cherry and a lime wheel or something. We'll figure something out. Let's try it. It's very Baijiu-y. When you taste Baijiu by itself, for me, I get a lot of this sort of bubblegum flavor. It's really difficult for me to identify. It's almost like a fruitiness, but it isn't a fruit I've ever tasted before. So the goal, I think, with some of this, with this very, very strongly flavored Baijiu, is to sort of team the flavors, to try and balance them out. This is actually pretty good, although you do get a lot of that Baijiu. A little bit of that ginger spice as an aftertaste. I think the balance is pretty good. You get the acidity of the lime is balanced out nicely with the other ingredients, but maybe a little too much of the Baijiu flavor. Sort of tropical, but a little thin. I think it needs a little more pep or something. I'm trying to get that ginger aftertaste, and I get it a little, but I want something else in the finish as well. We're gonna figure something out. I might turn down the Baijiu and put in a little something else. I might turn up some of the sweetener just to get a little bit more flavor in there. That might mean we turn up the lime. We'll have to do some tests, but next time you see me, I'll have figured out some adjustments. Okay, I'm back, and it's been a few days, and I've been thinking it over, and I think I've come up with an improvement. But I've also had some thoughts and come to some conclusions that I'd like to share. Number one, Baijiu is aggressive. I'm not 100% sure that it's for me. I only had a few sips of the original version that we made, and like an hour later, I was still like getting this sort of Baijiu aftertaste. Like it never leaves my palate. It's kind of crazy. I think I also figured out what the flavor of it is that it reminds me of, and it's umeboshi. Umeboshi are these salty fermented plums that you get in like Japanese cuisine. I kind of can't eat them. I kind of hate them, but I've had them before, and that's what this Baijiu tastes like to me. It's very savory, but with like a sort of fruitiness. I don't really get a lot of saltiness from Baijiu, but like that sort of weird fermenty savoriness. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not sure that I love it. The upshot of this is that I definitely turned the Baijiu way down in my version of the drink, but of course you should turn the Baijiu to whatever level suits you. Now, the second thing I want to discuss is coconut milk, where I think I made some definite tactical errors. First of all, I think I should have diluted it a lot more. It's just still really thick. And I realized later I could have diluted it with coconut water instead of just regular water. That is a missed opportunity. And thirdly, I should not have put it in a bottle. It's so thick that like it clogs up the neck of the bottle, and like you can't get the coconut milk out of the bottle. So dilute it more and don't put it in a bottle if you're gonna do this. By the way, this coconut cream that I used to make the coconut milk has polysorbate 60 in it, which is supposed to keep it from separating, but it's still like clogged up the neck of the bottle. I don't know. I think it's just too thick. Anyway, lessons learned. So onto the drink. I turned the Baijiu way down, as I mentioned before. I replaced some of that Baijiu with rum. I'm going to use Real McCoy 3. You could use any lightly aged or unaged rum that you wish. Some overproof Jamaican might go nice in this. I took out the apricot liqueur. I couldn't really taste it in the first one, so I decided to switch it out with Falernum, which should be a little bit more flavorful, but also sweet. Now, I also took out the ginger syrup. The ginger was just hitting me in the back of the throat as the aftertaste, and I don't think it was doing anything to moderate the Baijiu aftertaste, so I decided to switch to Fernet. Fernet, of course, will have a nice bitter aftertaste, and it lingers a little bit more than the ginger does. Just sort of try to meld in that Baijiu aftertaste. I did keep the cream of coconut in there, but otherwise these are some pretty major changes. Let's mix it up and see what we think. All right, we did it. You know, it's a fun looking tropical drink. Let's give it a taste. I mean, it's only a quarter ounce, but you still get that kind of sour plum Baijiu flavor. The coconut and the Baijiu is a good combo, I think, because the coconut kind of gloms on top of it and sort of turns it more into like a sort of a rich vanilla kind of a flavor. There's a fair bit of coconut in this, but it's not overpoweringly coconut, which is fun. I think the rum is just there as the base. The Falernum, like, it's not super present. Falernum might not be the perfect option either, but you want like a spicy sweetener, something with some other flavor to complement. And the Fernet is like a nice aftertaste that sort of combines with the Baijiu aftertaste to sort of tamp it down a little bit as well. I think that's pretty fun. And like I said before, if you're more into the Baijiu flavor, you could up the Baijiu. You could obviously make your adjustments, but this is how I would do it. Okay, I think I definitely fixed that for you, but I also have another weirder idea that I'm gonna share with you. This is something that I like to do sometimes for fun, is where you try to translate like a shaken drink into a stirred drink. And that's what I tried to do here. Now I kept the base the same. This time I'm going to use Banks 5 Island for the rum. Again, a quarter ounce of Baijiu. But this time for coconut, instead of coconut milk and cream of coconut, we're going to use this Clement coconut. This is another ingredient that's pretty hard to use in drinks a lot of the time because it is so overpoweringly coconut. It kind of takes over a lot of drinks. It just gives you that artificial coconut flavor. But I've been finding that combining it with the Baijiu, that combines into something fun. And you need something to do battle with this Baijiu. So for this sort of spicy element, I decided to go for Green Chartreuse, which will bump up the proof a little bit, make this a very boozy kind of a drink. So just to back that off a little, lengthen it a bit, I'm putting in some Blanc Vermouth. You could, of course, use, Coqui Americano or Lillet or a Cap Corse Blanc, any of those sorts of things to lengthen this out. And just as a little nod to our version 2, I'm going to do a little Fernet Rinse, a little Fernet Spritz. Serve it in a low ball, sort of like a Sazerac style. This is pretty good. Check this out. We did it. I guess this is fell out of the coconut tree version 2.1, the stirred version. I don't know. Not a ton of Fernet on the nose, but a little bit. Not as Baijiu-y as the other one on the nose. Let's give it a taste. This is something I really like. Now the Baijiu obviously is more of an accent note, but one thing about this coconut liqueur that I've had for years and have not much use for because of its overpowering nature. I'm using a tiny amount at a time. I managed to put a quarter ounce in this, and it just, melds up with that Baijiu pretty well, and just turns it into like a nice sort of long, complicated vanilla, just like the other drink. Now, I'll say something else. This doesn't have any lime juice, obviously. The lime juice and the Baijiu in the last drink sort of combined in this sort of fermenty, bright, acidic way that sort of, I think, enhanced the Baijiu part that I didn't like, that Baijiu flavor that I wasn't enjoying. I think taking out the lime is actually, for me, an excellent idea. Chartreuse, of course, still nice and spicy, and I think it was a good idea to lengthen it a little bit with the Blanc Vermouth. This is a very fun, sort of pretty simple, boozy, interesting drink. I'm down for it. So that's two pretty good options I have for you there, Michael Pieper. If you have a drink that you're working on, you maybe need a second opinion, put it in a comment down below or email me or get at me on Instagram. Get me the recipe and we'll see what we can do. You know, the other thing is I now have cream of coconut and ginger syrup and Baijiu for that matter. If you have any drinks that use any of those ingredients or any combinations, put them down below. We'll see what we can do about that as well. All right, that's all I got for you. I definitely fixed it for you. Now, if you have any comments, put them down below. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.